Okay, well, no matter. My name is Frost. I've been dancing since 1998, and I founded a crew, Illusionz, my boys here. And one thing that I noticed when I started, in comparison to generations now, is that at the time, my friends and I, we really didn't have things like internet. Hey, what's up, guys? Sorry. Like, oh, there's a lot of you. Come in, come in. I just started, so it's perfect timing. Yeah. Just come on, join the circle, get comfortable. Oh, so many people. Did everyone get lost? I got lost. Yeah, we got what I was saying is, when a lot of my friends and I started, a lot of our generation started, late 90s, we didn't have internet to have as our resource so that we could kind of like bounce ideas off of, or like check the latest battle that happened the night of even. Any footage that we got at the time, it was stuff that was like dubbed 18 times on VHS and shaky as hell, and even fragments of the video, and it was like 2 years old. So we're watching it and we're like, this is amazing. Meanwhile, it's outdated by 2 years. So, or we would catch fragments of stuff on like, here, join in the circle. We catch fragments of stuff on like Much Music or whatever, and we'd see crews like Bag of Tricks. You guys know Bag of Tricks, right? Yeah. Or like Intricate Crew was on there as well. And we'd have to like record it and then literally rewind it and push the pause button and keep pushing the pause button, like frame by frame, in order to kind of see like a 2-second clip. And then after that, we have to kind of piece together, what it is that we're trying to figure out. So as you can imagine, it's quite meticulous, and sometimes a pain in the ass, but really exciting, and it fueled our passion and our fire to like try to learn how to do this stuff. So in other words, any opportunity that we got to see someone who had a little bit more skill than us, or who was doing something different than us, right away we went up to them and we're like, yo, how do you do that? Or, how do you think about what you're doing? Or straight up we would battle each other. We'd just battle them and then figure out, talk later, And this is more of a normal thing. There's a big difference now. Also, I find that one of the biggest things for us, especially on myself, was I found it really important to find mentors. I found it really important to adopt mentors in my life, not just like on a breaking tip, but outside of the dance as well, whether it be people I looked up to because of their philosophy, or artists that were into musicians, or visual artists and stuff, to fuel my inspiration to do the dance, because you guys consider this an art, right? Yeah. I don't mean to like put words in your mouth or whatever, but for me, I consider it an art. So good art has good reference, right? And if you want to get good at something in this context, like in this dance, it makes sense to draw upon different sources, because that's how the dance started in the first place. It didn't just come from breaking. There was no such thing as breaking. It was many different things put together. So that being said, I looked up to a lot of guys like Bag of Tricks, for example. I looked up to DT, some guys from Supernaturals like Jester really helped me out. Guys like Back to Basics really hooked me up as well. Boogie Brats, Migas, and like I said, DT guys like Mike and stuff. And all these people, talking to them, they would always kind of give me some feedback and say, hey Frost, some people would be really cool about it, other people would be like School of Hard Knocks, but I would take it nice and I'd be like, dope, and then I try to like put it down and earn my stripes and earn my dues, right? And a lot of the stuff I'm going to show you today is kind of an amalgamation and a manifestation of like a lot of different things that I put together over the years that have really helped me to be creative, and helped me to perform in a battle context, and help me to win battles, but also help me to be a better performer, and help me to be a better instructor and a better student as well. So I really hope that you enjoy the stuff that I'm going to share with you. I'm going to kind of briefly give you an overview of the stuff. We have a couple hours, so we should be kind of good, right? The first thing I really want to talk to you guys about, I'm going to jump into it, is mask of character. So for me, what mask of character is understanding how you present yourself. And one thing I find is a big problem is sometimes I see people breaking and they're like acting. It's like an act, right? And okay, granted, you know, when you watch a movie, there's an actor playing a role. But when you're watching them play the role, you're not saying, oh, that's an actor playing a role. It should be like, whoa, you're engulfed in it. It's no longer didactically. You're like in it. You're like, whoa, that's actually, you know, Michael Keaton is Bruce Wayne. You know what I'm saying? Like he's Batman. You know, you gotta believe it. So sometimes I see a lot of dancers. They come in and they're fronting and they're kind of like putting on an act, and it doesn't go to the music, the feeling of the music. It doesn't even match their character. Or even if they're intentionally doing something contrast, it's not believable whatsoever. So, but you don't want to be just limited to saying, okay, well, you know, my body frame is like this, and I'm this kind of a personality, so I should only do things with this body frame, this kind of personality. What I'm saying is that with a technique like I'm going to show you, Master Character, it really helps you to understand your body, what you're communicating, and how you're presenting yourself. It's really important to actually to understand that what we're doing is communication, right? We're talking a language, right? Pretty much. Like, what does this mean? What does this mean?
Fuck you.
One thing, and oh, you get it, right? So when you're dancing, right, you should be able to communicate, boom, a picture's worth 1,000 words. A frame, like my man Paul once says, boom, frames, it's like pictures. Boom, you already understand directly what's going to happen. But also, consider the music, like, consider the music that you're dancing to in general. We're supposed to be the physical embodiment of the music. What the hell does that mean? It means that when you're on the floor, if someone who's deaf and can't like really hear normally, the way that most people can hear, they want to be able to see the music through your body. You got to be able to literally communicate where the rhythm is in your rock, the way you move your body. Boom, your groove. This is your rhythm. This is your bass. Boom, boom, boom. You know, you're accenting the snares. Boom, you're riding on a hi-hat. Ding, 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 ding. You're hitting a one. Bam! Everything you're doing, someone like, you know, should be able to just get it. Doing things like mask of character, really gonna help you define it. But how do you define your mask of character? How do you make that stuff up? It's like, well, you need tools, right? So one of the tools that I have, I got really inspired going up to the north, to the Arctic. As you may or may not know, I've been traveling up to the Arctic Canada, all across Nunavut and Northwest Territories and Yukon for the past 6 years at Burdflu for life. And in Inuit culture, it's very normal to do sculptures, things like sculpting and stuff like that, and carving in stone, right? So I really took that inspiration from another culture, and I tried to put that in my dance to say, well, how am I going to define my mask of character in the way that I'm moving and stuff? Well, I carve my body. So if I'm dancing, I want to have the control to carve my body and put it in positions and frames and actually be conscious of my composition, things like composition or the way that I'm actually like posing, or those like 1,000-word pictures. You know what I'm saying? You have control over it. Oftentimes I see people really focus just on moves, trying to get the illest move, and then it's like they get the illest move and they get the dope-ass combo, but their body looks ugly doing it. Hands are all flingy, you know, there's like no details, you know what I'm saying? Like there's no control of the body. Part of that comes with maturity, but another part of it comes with really, you know, being conscious of your awareness of your body, but really having an idea of how do you want to look. You know what I'm saying? Like, so doing things like, I'll give you another example. One of the things I used to do is, I mean, I'm a visual artist first. Drawing is my first passion. So, you know, I love to read comic books or like look at animation or look at video games and stuff. And, you know, I would take certain video game characters and, you know, and the old school like Super Nintendo or Nintendo is like 16 or 8-bit. It's like either one frame or you're another frame, you know? So like I would take those frames and I would adopt that into my style, right? So this is just an example of how you use mask of character carving, like getting influence from outside. I also want to talk a little bit about theory. I'm not going to go too much into detail until we do it, but it's called form and theme. This theory I've kind of constructed has really helped me to literally create moves and really create patterns and stuff that is visually dynamic and fun. And the process is just like really dope, and I guarantee that you guys are gonna have a dope time doing it. And I really hope that that you guys try to remember it and play around with it. I know my crew, we play around with it a lot naturally. And there's a lot of guys that I've met along the way, internationally and even locally within Canada, who have fragments of these ideas. Like, for example, my man John Stylewalker, aka Drift from Dangerous Goods. You guys may or may not have heard of him, but he's similar generation as myself in Fresh Effects. And when I showed him the idea of form and theme and things like compass, for example, he's like, oh, yo, I have something like compass. I call it Houdini, because I'm breaking out of positions that I'm lost in, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, oh, okay, so sometimes terminology is different depending on where you reach it, you know? So I encourage you guys to make up names. For me, I didn't bring my book today, but I have like a little book. I read it. It's a series of like several books I've had over like the past 14 years of my breaking. But like, I'll write and I'll create material. I think it's really important to have material and stuff. So I'm going to talk about form and theme, how you make up things. I'm going to talk about, like, I don't know, you guys ever get stuck when you're breaking? Like, who gets stuck in positions and stuff like that? Everybody, right? If you don't put your head, you're lying. Right? Okay, if you get stuck in positions, I have a clever little way I call it compass. And that really helps you to kind of explore and look around. I think something else I really want to show you today, if we have time, I'm pretty sure we will, but it's a theory called loops. And I got this playing with this idea of loops from guys like Bag and Tricks, like Gizmo, one of my mentors. And you know, I think it's really fun. It's a good way for people to digest your movement. Sometimes my boys, like you guys know my boy Savio, you know puzzles, right? So Puzzles and I remember in 2001 we used to jam together a lot. He's like, yo, Frost, man, like, sometimes I can't see what you're doing, it's too fast. And, you know, you gotta break it down a little bit and repeat it. And I'd be like, yeah, really? And then, like, yo, Sav. And then we kind of play with some ideas, which is another thing. I encourage you guys to break with a lot of other people. Like, don't just stay, it's cool to stay with your crew, build with your crew, but meet other people, meet other crews, travel, like, learn about what other people are doing and vibe. Don't bite anything, but just like vibe. And if you're on the same frequency, make stuff up. So me and my homie, we made some stuff, and I find out that guys like Bag and Tricks are already doing it way, way before us. So I adopted it and I kind of flipped it around and I have a clever way of playing with it, right? Any other stuff I add into the theories, you'll catch along the way. But just to get warmed up, I want us to get dancing and grooving. You guys ready? Yeah. And any questions so far? Okay, thanks for paying attention and listening. I really want to show you this stuff. I'm really excited to share it. That's what I do. That's what I am today. All right, let's do it.